Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes I'll call myself Latino, and like you know, I've been in situations to talk about, because you mentioned networking earlier, right? So like sometimes I've been in networking situations where people introduce me as Latino, and then I'll be around a whole bunch of like Colombians. And I'm like, we're not the same. Like I'm Mexican, you're Colombian. We're not the same. Or I'll be around a lot of Argentinians or Colombians. And mind you, like I like being around them. Like I really enjoy Latino culture in general and everything that we have to offer. But in those moments, I'm realizing like in this conversation, we're having a great time and we're like in it or whatever. And like, you know, but in terms of like what I can actually bring to the table in terms of like how we relate, it's very slim. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, imagine talking to a Puerto Rican, you know, like if somebody like Bad Bunny was around you, like you'd be like, yo, we're Latinos. And like I vibe to your shit and in y'all's culture and stuff like that. But like, I don't really know how to like communicate with you past a certain point in terms of like how to relate with you. Cause even the way you talk, I'm like, I'm not going to talk like that, you know?
And certain words too.
Certain words, certain meaning.
Like we were just talking about how like, Cubanos use like descarada differently. Versus like how like if you were to call someone in Mexico that, they would take that very
yeah.
They're always like, nah, you're like adventurous and all this and that, and I'm just like, yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, don't
say that to me.
Don't speak like that to me, right? Don't be disrespecting me just like that. You know what I mean?
Or it's like that one TikTok sound where it's like, when my job wants me to interpret or like Spanish, and it's like, what kind of Spanish are we talking about? Like reggaeton Spanish, or are we talking about more like Mexican Spanish? You know?
It's funny. I have a whole bunch of Colombian friends, and they use the word mamado, and for them, mamado means like jacked. Like for them, you see what I'm saying? So like they would. I remember we were all in a place where we were all working out because we worked in the same place, and they were all like being really active. And the Colombian guys were like, man, me siento bien mamado, like what this and that. And like me and like two other Mexican people were there were like, what? Like why would you say that, right? And then they were like, yeah, like bien mamado, like está bien mamado. And we're like, are you saying like you look jacked? And they're like, yeah, like I'm like I got a good pump going. And we're like, that's not what that means in Mexico, bro. Don't go to Mexico and call yourself mamado like that, because it's not gonna be a good time for you.
We also found out too that apparently like Cubanos use like papaya differently.
Papaya? Like it's not the fruit?
It's not the fruta. It means like vagina.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I was like, wait, okay, well now I know to not ever go.
You know who else uses and now this just clicked. I don't know which country, but there's other countries that use cuca as vagina, right? And it's so funny because cuca is the nick. You know how like Sergio means chacho or something like that. There's like a short term. Well, my grandmother's name is Cuca. Like that's the way that she the people call her in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Or you know, because that's like.
That's
her name, but cuca in other languages, in other country, in other Latin American countries means vagina. So it's just really funny that like all this stuff, all these different straws also. Yeah. Like in Mexico we use a popote, right? Yeah. And I think in Colombia they say pitillo. And if a Mexican is like, hey, give me el pitillo, like that's not we're not saying the same thing.
Or concha too.
Or concha.
Argentinian, I think means like
vagina, concha. And then for us it's bread. You know what I mean? It's just like yeah, man. Imagine me like as a Mexican be like, man, you know what sounds good right now? Fucking concha right now. And an Argentinian being like, not at the table. not at the table. And I'm like, where do you want me to eat the concha? I'm not eating in my room. That would be a funny skit if an Argentinian and a Mexican did that.
But I think that's like the awesome part about like us being so different is like I think that's all like funny, and I want to continue to like know funny like things that like in my Spanish that like I have like from Mexico. I know we have different words, but it's like I want to continue to know more words like that because they're just funny, like you said. Like, what do you mean? Like I'm saying something completely different if I were to go to another country.
Why are we not understanding?
We're not clicking.
It's not clicking.
We're not clicking. We can dance the same right now, but we're not like we can't use the same words. It's so funny. I I often find myself, like, the thing that I find to be really unique about me, my experiences, is if I'm around a lot of Mexicans, I tend to speak like a Mexican. But then if I'm around a lot of Colombians, I will I will like code switch in Spanish.
Yeah.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and this kind of goes back to the thing where I was like, I think in English and I speak and I dream in English. I like gather my thoughts in English, right?
Yeah.
I'm an artist in English, but then when I'm speaking Spanish, it's almost like I have this like amount of words that I know and that I can use it primarily in like norteño slang, right? Because that's where I'm from. But if I'm around a lot of Colombians, my speech pattern will change. The way that I like talk about things will change. If I'm around Puerto Ricans, I'll start saying like "ya tú sabes" all the time. Like and so much so that I've had Puerto Ricans and Argentinians and Colombians be like, "Are you from Colombia? Are you from Argentina?" And I'm like, "No, I'm from Mexico." And they're like, "Mexicans don't talk like that." Yeah. But it's because I kind of code switch into that world in the same way that I grew up in inner city Houston, Texas. We were predominantly Hispanic, but there's a lot of black people also. And we were neighboring 3 black neighborhoods, like lower income black neighborhoods. So like culture wise, we spoke very Houstonian slang, which is black slang. Excuse me. And then we also were really heavy into hip hop. So then we also spoke with like hip hop and Ebonics essentially. Yeah. So then it was like a little bit of Ebonics and then a little bit of like Mexican slang or like Hispanic or like with the accent or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'll code switch into that. So like if I'm at a meeting with a client or something, I'm speaking like this primarily because this is typically how I speak now in English, right? Yeah. But if I go back to my neighborhood in Houston and I see somebody, completely different speech pattern, you know?
Yeah. I used to do that too. Like I dated a Cuban and I would always, like, because he said coño a lot. So I would start saying coño too, and I'm like, who are you turning me into?
Blasphemy.
And I love
was like, can you stop? No.
No, there was a funny moment too where we took an Uber and she was from Germany, so she was driving and she slammed on her brakes and then she went Scheisse, which means I think like a bad word, like shit, right, shit, or probably. Something, or fuck, I don't know, But we started to say it, like, just because, like, she was so sweet.
I had a Russian mentor for a good minute, so I now cuss in Russian sometimes.
Yeah,
I'll cuss in Russian. I also was around a whole bunch of Argentinians for a while, so sometimes I would say carajo. Because they'll say they'll say coño, like in the same way that like some Cubans will say coño. Argentinians say carajo. They'll be like carajo, right? Yeah. Or Colombians will say hijo de puta a lot.
Yeah.
And they'll just say it for nothing. They'll be like hijo de puta, like blah blah blah, and they'll just say it for whatever. Or Colombians will also say gonorrea.
Oh yeah.
Gonorrea. They'll be and they say gonorrea as like a good time, like fue una gonorrea, right? I already did the accent right, and I'm like, that's a disease, my guy. Like you don't want to do that on a Friday night. You know what I mean?
I literally was telling her too. I was listening to Karol G and Becky G's song "Mami."
Yeah.
And Karol G literally says "y tú con gonorrea" or something like that because she's Colombian, and so I'm just like, wait, did
el perreo y la gonorrea, right? Yeah, like Puerto Ricans use perreo, el perreo, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. Like if you're gonna go out there and be a perro, like whatever, you know what I mean. You're gonna go dog out. Like then it's fine. Like I kind of get it, right?
Yeah.
But like Colombians will be like, "Uy, fue una gonorrea," and I'm like, bro. When I first heard that, I'm like, I don't want to go where you went because wherever it is that you went, that's not a good time. I got,
That sounds awful.
That sounds like I gotta fix it afterwards. I gotta figure something out. Like Mexicans don't use that shit, right? Like,
no.
You know,
when I heard that, I literally thought she was outing her ex for saying that he had like given her an STD or had an STD.
Yeah, so you immediately went into like, bro, you went to the drama, and she's just trying to have fun.
She said that. She said he had gonorrhea.
That's fire. Yeah. You were like, out him, sis. Like, like he ain't nobody. Fuck him.
Yeah, and then I found out it didn't even mean that.
They didn't mean it. It mean she wanted a party. Yeah. And you're like, that's the opposite of what I thought you said.
Literally the complete opposite.
That's fucking hilarious.
It was so funny.
That's so good.
The whole time I sang that song, I was like, he had.
You're over there telling people like, did you know that she did you know that he gave her gonorrhea?
Yes.
You started a whole rumor about a celebrity.
A whole rumor. I'm over here. I don't know why.
She
in my
started
head,
a whole thread on Twitter.
Damn. Be like,
don't know why in my head I didn't think that could have meant like something else because I know Carol G is not Mexican. I just don't know why in my head.
Facts. And also, like, what in your right mind would make you think that saying gonorrhea means that let's have a good time?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Just the word in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
But yeah, I was around a whole bunch of man, fue una gonorrhea. And, you know, and they'll say it like that. And I'm like...
That's how I felt like when I watched Money Heist. And
Oh,
I was
yeah,
obsessed
yeah,
with
yeah,
Money Heist,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
watched it
yeah.
in Spanish, you know.
Bella
in
ciao.
Spain. Yes, and
watching it in Spanish is so good, though.
Yes,
watching it in Spanish is so much better than watching it in English. Yeah,
it's definitely like a challenge to keep up with like the Spanish that they're
after
speaking.
the first season, though, you're good.
Yeah.
You kind of get it. You're like in the rhythm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I know what that word means. Yeah. But yeah, I would adapt to like, or I watched like Colombian TV shows too, and like I'll adapt to like their accents as well. And I think it's just a thing we have with like speaking two languages. It's like we naturally want to like soak in like new words, you know. So
Money Heist is so good though.
It is.
That's
I've been trying to tell her
Who's your
to
favorite
watch
character?
it.
You should watch it.
I haven't watched it.
Cynthia, watch Money Heist. It's so good.
So
I will.
good.
Casa de Papel. Let's fucking go.
I will.
It's so good. You're gonna get hooked, and then you're gonna be
So
singing
good.
Bella Ciao nonstop.
Really?
And it's also because it's like, well, like you want them to like steal
Succeed,
this money.
yeah,
You want them to
but they're-
succeed, but they're bad.
But they're
like,
bad
you know,
people.
they're
Yeah.
doing it illegally.
Who's your favorite character? Sorry, we're gonna exclude you for a second.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I think.
Can I guess? Can I try to guess?
Yeah, I guess.
Tokyo.
Yes. I guess if there's like a favorite female in it.
Okay. Favorite female is Tokyo?
Yeah. I would
Okay,
think
favorite male Berlin.
No.
No? Who's the favorite guy?
I think Rio.
Is that Tokyo's dude?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're into the love story. You're into the love story.
She loves the romance.
Yeah, you're the romance.
I don't know. I think for me, like, I think Berlin, I mean, they were both really smart, like, the way they planned this whole heist. And, like, not just that one, but, like, you know,
Multiple
I think Berlin
ones.
even has his own TV
It's
show,
really
right?
good, too.
I don't
It's
think
really
I've watched
good.
that one,
There's romance
actually.
in that one because he falls in love.
Maybe I started it, but
You
yes,
should watch it.
he's all about love.
Yeah,
he is all about bringing love
and he
into
is
his heist.
and he is so narcissistic. He is a narcissist through and through. But the way that he falls in love with this French girl, I'll let you go. I'll let you watch it. I'll let you watch it. You can text me about it. Be like, yo, that shit was crazy. Yeah, but anyway.
I need to watch that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I know I've been telling her like to watch it, and I told her I was like, it may take you like an episode or two to get into like getting to know so many characters because you like unlock all the characters at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but once you start to get to know them, then you like attach to them, and then like it's so sad. Like I was so sad once they started to like die off, like a little bit.
But it was
like,
kind
I
of
get
like
so
it was kind of
attached.
expected though. Like they can't all stay.
I know they all can't succeed in this, but it's like so damn sad.
My favorite character for the girl is not Tokyo. What's the girl that died?
I forgot her name. Nairobi.
Nairobi
was a
Oh
badass.
gosh, she was so great. She was so good. Actually, but that show has so many great characters. It's not even funny. Like even Tokyo's good. She's crazy.
Yeah.
She's erratic, but she's hot. So you know you kind of have to make the hot girl be like fucking erratic and shit. You know what I mean?
Adventurous,
But I also really like the girl cop on the fourth season, the third and fourth season.
Oh, yeah.
The redhead, the pregnant girl.
Yeah.
She is badass.
Yeah.
She is like no joke.
She like
And the
when
way they
she walked
introduce
in
her,
the
too.
room, like I felt the tension.
Yeah, you're like,
through the
bitch,
TV.
what? Like, what's
Oh my
happening?
God.
Well, I think they introduced her on the plane, because she's torturing the guy on the plane. So there's no like rules. There's no like there's no laws. They're not on sovereign land, so she can technically like fuck that guy up.
Yeah.
In the air, so they're just continuously in the air while she's torturing somebody. And I'm like, what a fucking way to introduce a woman character, like a female character, and pregnant,
like,
and she was
full
pregnant.
blown out pregnant.
Yeah,
like,
I was all like,
months.
oh yeah, these fucking this character development stories are on fire because
Yes,
like this
they
is
put
so
much-
good.
and I love how they're named after cities.
Yeah.
Like no one is supposed to know their real name or anything. But then also like when they go to their like background stories, like where
So
you get
good.
those sneak peeks of like who are you? Like,
So good.
Where did you come from? How did you end up in this heist?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this makes me love you even more. You know.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite male character is the professor.
yeah, he's cool.
Just because I'm kind of like a I tend to get on my like absent-minded professor kind of way. Like I always had. I graduated school, and I had a degree in photography and digital media. And in my mind, I'm like, I should go get my master's. And the only reason I wanted to get my master's is so I can teach in college. I enjoy like giving lectures and stuff. Oh yeah. So whenever you have this guy that's a fucking criminal, but he's like a mastermind, and he's like, and they call him the professor, I'm like, I'm kind of sold. Yeah. I'm kind of sold on that character. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we gotta bring you back. What show do you like?
I do love. I watched The Blacklist. If that helps. It's
Blacklist is great.
Yeah, it's good. Remington.
Yeah. Remington is good. So we all like morally ambiguous characters. That's good. Yeah. Raymond is great.
I always told her too. Like, if I was here in this world like by myself, like I didn't have any family members, nothing. It was just me. Like, no friends, nothing. I think I really would be like a great criminal. I don't know what.
Damn.
Exactly. Like,
not for the pod. Don't be saying that on the pod. Nah, I have deep desire to.
I am not a criminal. But like, I'm just saying, like, I think it would be so cool to either dedicate like Reddington's character is like, oh my gosh, I would love that. I know it's not realistic.
Money Heist is better than Blacklist because Blacklist still feels like we got to go through these episodes, and it still feels kind of like TV-esque, like cable TV-esque. Money Heist is like cinematic masterpiece. Yeah. Like, they film it so great. It doesn't feel like cable TV at all.
I've seen the first two. First episode, but yeah, I kind of like.
Is that your type? This is how I'm gonna segue into. No. Is that your type? What's your type? If you like those characters, what's your type?
I actually hate men that like. Are like, you know, I guess that have been like in jail or anything like that. I don't like to be around those type of men. I think I like the more fictional aspect of it.
But then you just put Shia LaBeouf back on.
I know.
but then he's right here. He's right here.
Like this, but like if they're like, you know, in the cartel or anything like that, or whatever, like in a life of crime, no, I can't do that. I'd be too paranoid.
You wouldn't be El Chapo's wife. Did you see her court case? I saw the court case.
Wait, she did. She never snitched, right?
I know.
She never did.
She was like, my man has never done anything illegal in his entire life. I was like, sister.
She held it down.
She held it down. She was like, yo, however El Chapo vetted this girl, she held it down. Yeah. She went to jail and everything. And she was like, I've never seen him do anything illegal in my life. He loved me. He loved everybody. He was a community. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything you're saying right now about who you think he is, nope. That's not my man's. Yeah. I was like, God damn, where do we find those girls? Because that shit was crazy, dude. That shit was wild.
Not here. Not me. Not me.
Cynthia's like, he stole $5 from CVS. Cynthia, it was an accident, but he did it though.
Cynthia would pull out. She's like, I actually have a list.
Look, just take it.
Just take it. Like, I've been doing your work for you. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, can I get back pay? If you like that video, please make sure you like and subscribe. We're on every social media platform. It really helps out in the algorithm if you do that. And it also helps us make better content for you in the future. We are 100% self-funded, and we have so many ideas that we want to get out to you guys, but we won't be able to do it without you. So please hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We really, really, really appreciate it. Until next time, see you around.